For my assignment piece, although I did quite a bit of work on made sketchbooks and looking at developing digital ideas, I really wanted to go back to the drawing exercise and develop these further. Really, this was about exploring sketchbooks as a made object, bringing in elements that I know spark my interest: origami and needlework, transparencies, and trying to draw those together. I'm going to do a slightly different order. It made sense in my head rather than having a head first. I'm going to go to the behind drawing. Really wanted to keep it quite raw looking so you can see the bare bones as such. This was charcoal drawing. I have quite an energetic style. It was kind of based on what was behind me in my little art space, but I think probably reflects the fact that it's, as it has been for a lot of people, quite a difficult few years. I really wanted to convey that heavy, dark feeling, but I do tend to draw in quite a dense style and then erase as much as I or at times. And the lines were kind of rules-based life and how difficult I can find that. And then adding bits of interest, transparencies, a little bit of text, handwritten, that you can just about make out if you wish to. Adding interest where the folds are grouped together. So these two, the yellow and the blue, they can be taken apart and pulled out. This one was done slightly differently. The eyelet goes across the 2 pages, so it forms a kind of pocket. I was just really exploring different ways of putting that together, and it turned into a fun little piece, but kind of reflective of what's been happening over the last few years. It definitely has hints of artists that have interested me over the years, particularly the abstract expressionists. I enjoyed doing that. Well, second piece, the right of me. I've got my new art space, and these were just the shelves. It was another frenetic drawing, green line drawing. I made quite a few mistakes cutting this because I cannot follow instructions, and I don't know, I think particularly because of it was a combination of text and pictures, and my brain just could not process it, and rather enthusiastically cut in the wrong places. I've got areas that I've not hidden away, I've just made it quite clear where a page has gone a little bit wrong, but I kind of like that. And adding the thread, it's a bit of a tangled web in terms of trying to work out how I want to live life and how I explain that to people. So I think that's reflective of this chaotic strand. I kind of know what I want, but being able to explain that to others is maybe a little bit more problematic. And also bearing in mind it's not just a want, it's what I really need, and some things I just can't do, and coming to terms with that. So it turned into quite an interesting piece, and I kind of like the way you can see sort of little figures in amongst the chaos of lines. So that was my right hand side drawing. My left hand side drawing was on a larger sheet of paper. It was a watercolour sketch of a squirrel, which is one of the many visitors we have to our little garden. Very much a safe space for me. I like being in my art room looking out and watching these little characters bouncing around. It was quite a small sketch, and the space around it was reflecting how I've had to slow down life and build in time to think, which I'm really privileged that I can do that now. It's really working out what I need from life and not what other people want from me. But when I was creating the booklet, again, I can't follow instructions, and I found this one really difficult to follow. I don't know, the combination of words and pictures that I couldn't quite make out. I got into a bit of a tangle, but I decided actually the shrinking of my world could be reflected by the size of the booklet. That would work just as well. Again, transparencies, removable sections, the spine can come out. You can have it displayed without the spine, and the booklet itself comes out. The folds made an interesting little pocket area, so I've got a load of cut out bits of magazines and newspapers and stuff, and honestly I look like I'm about to blackmail someone. I had to rustle around and grabbed a couple of words and ended up with time anxiety, which is quite apt for me, to be honest. So they're just sitting in there in the pockets, and you can just about make out the little squirrel still. On the other side I've got what is it? I find it really interesting that it's almost transformed into kind of mountainous landscape. I really enjoyed doing this. I like small objects. I'm kind of quite tiny myself. Nice piece of work. Enjoyed that. Final piece was actually first on the list, the head drawing, which was a quick sketch of my garden space that I'm looking out on. I used inks, and it was on this lovely mulberry paper that I bought ages ago and just didn't use because I don't know, I liked it too much and didn't want to ruin it. And so I thought this was a good reason to brave it, practicing a little bit of stitch work. Actually, I didn't make any mistakes with this one, but I wanted the pages to work in a particular way. I've got some elements sewn up at the sides, so I didn't have any bits flapping around, like how that's sort of path showing the way ahead, what might come. Works well, opening up the right hand side, the normal way as such. But you can also open it up the other side, and being left-handed, I kind of like the fact there's a little bit more to it on this side. I don't know, might not be necessarily intuitive to people to open it up this way, but the opportunity is there. Some pages have been cut, so it gives you more sheets, a little bit more, I guess, depth to it. Yeah, I tell it really nicely. I really like this, getting that sense of something behind, but you don't quite know what. Lovely piece. Fun to do, because I find it quite difficult letting go of stuff. I've worked with a lot of scrap material that I had kicking about, and I had this box, just, I don't know, because I liked it and I thought it might come in useful at some point. It's made quite a nice little display. I just used some foam to cut out areas for the booklets to sit in, a bit of origami, and it's a nice little display case and brings it all together. Really fun exercise and a lot of food for thought. A definite sense of enjoyment from that kind of made book, and something that I hope to develop further.